and welcome to Crossing Kin. I'm Kristen.
And I'm Randy, and we are so excited that you decided to click and join us here in the Crossing Kin Garage.
Today, I'm very excited because we are back with another Let's Recast It, the ongoing series here at Crossing Kin. Click the card somewhere up above our heads for a link to a playlist containing all of our others. But let me real quick explain how Let's Recast It work for those of you who might be new to this show. So let's recast it. We take an older movie-ish and we give it a brand new shiny cast. But, however, let me make something abundantly, very, 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 very clear. We do not actually want a remake of this movie.
Let me make a point here real quick, if I may. We no more want a remake of this movie than we want the Razorbacks to wear anthracite ever. That's all I have to say about that.
Anyway, we do not ever want a remake of this movie, but Hollywood is unlikely to listen to us, so we are here to present our ideas of what the casts for any movie that we pick might well look like.
It's just a fun exercise, and it's winding up to be one of my favorite segments here at Crossing Kin.
Today, our movie is Knight's Tale, released in 2001. Dad, you want to kind of tell us what this movie is about?
This is a take on the classic hero, heroine, villain story. And it puts it in a very Elizabethan pseudo time frame where knights are honored and family is everything and the daring do of knights win the ladies' hearts, and Geoffrey Chaucer shows up. That gives you a little bit of an idea of how interesting this movie is. It is a great take on the classic tale, infusing bits and pieces of true-to-life characters, a la Geoffrey Chaucer, into the narrative of the film. Then it lays on top of it the quintessential, ultimate, perfect, classic rock and roll soundtrack.
The soundtrack is a huge anachronism. We don't care. It makes this movie so stinking awesome.
Let's make one point perfectly clear. While we are suggesting modern day actors, we don't suggest any changes at all to the soundtrack.
Soundtrack stays exactly the same. This movie opens with Queen's We Will Rock You while there's a jousting tournament happening. And the crowd's doing the clap thing. It's so cool, guys.
If you've not seen this film, it is one of Heath Ledger's good films. I wouldn't say it's his best film. Batman, probably. That one is his best film as the Joker. Heath Ledger is coming of age, I would say.
This is the movie that launched him in the States.
And it's got a cast that at that time may not have been as well known.
But they're big names now.
But they're larger names now.
And we will talk about them. We're going to go ahead and get started. Let me tell you the characters that we are recasting, because this movie has so many characters in it, it would take us way too long to cast all of them. We're just going to hit some of the main characters.
And the actors who originally portrayed the supporting cast did a phenomenal job.
Yes.
We always at Crossing Kin, when we do a recast it, just want to talk about the main protagonists.
This film has pretty much the best cast of any early 2000s movie, in my opinion. This cast has such a great chemistry. I hope we can do this film justice. Okay, so the characters we are recasting are William, Roland, Jeff, who is Geoffrey Chaucer, as Dad mentioned, but they call him Jeff for most of the movie, Watt, Kate, Jocelyn, and Count Adamar. So we're going to go ahead and get started with our lead. He was originally portrayed by the late, great Heath Ledger, who died in 2008, shortly before or after the premiere of The Dark Knight, in which, as Dad said, he played the Joker. He was a phenomenal actor, and he was definitely gone too soon. This film is my favorite of his. As we've established before, I'm a Marvel fan, not a DC fan, so this film is what I know Heath Ledger best for. And he plays William, who is, as Dad said, our titular hero. He wants desperately to rise above his station and become a knight. So my cast for this is probably going to shock many. I have picked Tom Felton of Harry Potter fame. He is best known for playing the sort of kind of antagonist in Harry Potter, Draco Malfoy. Since then, he has grown up a lot. The bits I've seen of him outside of Harry Potter, he is a fantastic actor. And I think giving him this role would it would allow him to be a good guy. Yay! For those of us who really like Tom Felton, yay, we can vitally cheer for him. B, it would actually let him stretch his comedic muscles. He is a legitimately funny guy. Watch any interview with him, he's hilarious. So this would really allow him to let those comedic muscles thrive, and I think he would be fantastic as the wide-eyed hero.
That's a great casting.
Also, as a little side note, we're not casting his dad, but I would also bring Jason Isaacs along to play his dad. Again, they already have good chemistry as father and son, and I also would like to cheer for Jason Isaacs as well. So, just as an aside.
And if he doesn't make it as a knight, he could sure transition to the wizard position. But anyway. Okay. I think that's a great casting. I agree. Tom Felton is one of those actors from Harry Potter that has gotten maybe a little left in the dust from the holy trio, so to speak. And his acting skills, we loved him in Risen, which is a film about around Easter time that we've mentioned before. He was a supporting cast member in that and did a very good job, I thought. My casting, however, is a little bit more. Unfortunately, I tend to cast my films on things that I see most recently. And Kristen's nodding her head. She probably will figure this out. We've recently discovered the television show Fire Country and have fallen in love with it. And while this may seem typecasting, Max Thero, however you may pronounce his name.
Can you do a British accent?
I don't care. I just shaggy hair, dude. I mean, so you could pull off the surfer knight thing. Plus he's, so he could certainly handle the physical aspects of jousting and swordplay, etc., etc. I'm just saying, I think he would make a good, and my casting in this certainly would pay homage to Heath Ledger, because they're similar builds, they're similar, obviously, hair and facial styles. And we've fallen in love with the show. If you haven't seen Fire Country yet, please, go take and give it a look. It's a CBS project.
Streaming on Paramount
Plus. We will take our royalty check at some time in the not too distant future, Paramount. So make your checks out to Crossing Kin. All right,
moving right along. Roland. So Roland, if you don't know who this character is right off the top of your head, he is the character played by Mark Addy. And bless him, he's the teddy bear of the group. That is the best way to phrase it. He is the group teddy bear. He's kind of the father/older brother figure of the group. Sure. He's the only one with any bit of common sense. But he is also just along for the ride and will not take crap from anybody. He is fabulous, and I love him. Mark Addy, you did a beautiful job with Roland. Again, if that name's not familiar to you, he plays Friar Tuck in the Russell Crowe Robin Hood. I have chosen for my Roland, Joplin Sibtain. Now, if that name is not at all familiar to you, he plays Brasso in the Star Wars show Andor. He plays Cassian's old friend from his home world. I fell in love with this actor when we were watching Andor. Like, every time he came on screen, I was just cheesing, because he has that level-headed but also willing to go to bat for his friends quality about him in Andor, and I think that would translate over very well to Roland. I think Joplin Sibtain would be a good job grounding the main group as the heart of the group, and
it's easy to see they're similar characters.
Yes, and that's
Andor
the thing.
and Knight's Tale. So it wouldn't be too much of a transition for him to go from the future
to the medieval times.
To medieval times. So,
all right, who is your Roland?
My Roland is a Roland in every television show that we have seen him in. So far, I've yet to see him in a movie. I suspect he's probably been in one or two. My choice is Omar Benson. We first encountered him on CSI, and then he transitioned to the one-season show True Lies. I love this actor. He is, as Kristen described this character, he is that teddy bear while maintaining a stand type character. I think this would even broaden his horizons a little bit more. Now, he's getting to be a little bit older, so you might want to recast this pretty quickly. So, Omar Benson, absolutely, we like this actor in most everything that we've seen him in.
Yeah,
so,
I like that cast.
Omar
I like
Benson.
it quite a lot. All right, next up we have Jeff, or Jeffrey Chaucer. He is the herald of the group. He is also probably the one that gets them into the most trouble, I would say, as played by 2001 era Paul Bettany. Oh, I love Paul Bettany in this role. This was the first role I ever saw Paul Bettany in, and I love him in this role, minus his introduction bit. If you've seen this movie, you know why. I love him. He's such a good character, and Bettany does a fantastic job, and he gave his all in this role because he actually gave himself laryngitis because of all of the shouting he had to do as part of this film. And I mean, that's dedication if you're willing to throw out your voice. My pick for Jeff is Bradley James. Again, that name might not be immediately like light bulb. I know exactly who that is. If you are a fan of the BBC show Merlin, he played Arthur. He was King Arthur in that. And I believe he has since gone on to either the history show Vikings or one of its spin-offs. He is a fantastic actor. In Merlin, he plays much a similar role as the character of Jeff is. And he shouts quite a bit, so I know he would be able to handle the heralding part of the job. He also has a very similar physique to Paul Bettany, so yeah, I think Bradley James would take this role and own it.
The little bits and pieces I've seen of Merlin, he is an exquisite actor, and Kristen and Katie have watched this show. I think if you like Arthurian tales, this is a great show that you should stream.
Fair warning, it does end as an Arthurian tale should end, so just brace for that. But yes, Bradley James is an exquisite actor.
My Jeff is a star who has recently come into his own. You might recognize him as a certain lobster. My Jeff is Daveed Diggs.
Oh! I have zero complaints. I love that.
My Jeffrey Chaucer is Daveed Diggs. Now, if you're unfamiliar with him, you need to go and see the live-action Little Mermaid that just came out. He plays Sebastian.
If you want to see what the actor actually looks like, he plays Lafayette and Thomas Jefferson in Hamilton, which you can stream on Disney+.
Dual roles, and it is my opinion that he is one of the, in Hamilton at least, he is one of the standout actors, supporting roles in Hamilton, in Lin-Manuel Miranda's version of that. I just absolutely, the fact that he did dual roles, the fact that he was just so, well, he was there for comic relief to a certain extent, as is Jeff.
His energy is very Jeff.
His energy is very, very Jeff.
Love that.
So my choice is Daveed Diggs. Sir, from the things that I've seen in The Little Mermaid, which I really don't have any intention to see because I don't know that you can get past the original animation, personally, my opinion, and you know, we like to give our opinions here in the Cross and Ken Garage. However, the things that I have seen, the clips that I have seen, he has done a phenomenal job of Sebastian in the current remake, live-action remake of The Little Mermaid. Daveed Diggs, I think he would make a great Jeffrey Chaucer in our recasting of A Knight's Tale.
I love that. I love that so much. All right, now for my favorite character in the movie, Walt. This guy, he is a big old live wire that's always just ready to fire off.
As much as Roland is the big brother, Watt is the crazy uncle.
He's also the loose cannon. Like, he's always ready to throw a punch. Watt is played by the astounding, the beautiful, the lovable Alan Tudyk.
We love him.
This would have been either right before or right after his stint on Firefly. And
we love
then
Firefly.
he just took off running. He's now kind of more of a voice actor. He's done several things for Disney, all the way up to Encanto, where he provided the little toucan squawks for that toucan in the movie.
Most recently, we've seen him in The Rookie.
Yes,
with
Nathan
Fillion's
Rookie.
He was a supporting character. Beautifully done. I mean, absolutely beautifully done in those shows.
I have yet to see a film or show where I don't like Alan Tudyk. Even when he is a bad guy, he brings such a great energy to every single performance he does. I love Alan Tudyk, and this was the very first thing I ever saw him in, and I've loved him ever since. He has, oh my goodness, we're going to probably have to do a whole episode about how much we love Alan Tudyk one of these days, but that is not this episode.
The tutelage to Tudyk, wait for it. Coming soon from the Crossing King Garage.
Okay, anyway, Watt. Watt's character, like we said, live wire, firecracker, always trying to pick a fight. I have picked an actor that has honestly just come into Hollywood like a fire recently. His name is Taron Egerton. He first started in the Kingsman franchise, then he started doing some voice work with the Sing movies, and as well as being Elton John in Rocket Man. And he is still making many movies. Eddie the Eagle is another one that Dad has seen. I've yet to see it, but I really, really want to.
With Hugh Jackman.
With Hugh Jackman, yes. He's one of the many actors that's been in the circle about possibly taking over Hugh Jackman's role as Wolverine when the MCU finally replaces the Fox cast. I think Taron would be fantastic. The little bits of live action acting I've seen him do, he is very much a Watt type character. He can play a Watt type character very well. From what I understand, his character of Eggsy in Kingsman is very much like this. Pretty, for lack of a better term, volatile, which would describe Watt very well. But he's also a fiercely loyal person, and I believe that Taron would play it very well. Also, the interviews I've seen, he's also a very funny person, so he would be able to bring the comedy beautifully. I also think he would play off of Bradley, Joplin, and Tom very, very well. So, yeah, I picked Taron Egerton.
Mine's a no-brainer, and whenever I say this, it's going to be easy to see this actor in this character's role. My pick for Watt is Jack Black. I just think he has between Tenacious D, between Kung Fu Panda, that enough said. I love Jack Black as a character. I love Tenacious D's music. He is most recently just been in the Mario Brothers movie as Bowser, and does a over-the-top, absolutely wonderful Bowser in that film. Download Peaches. That's all I gotta tell you. I think Jack Black would be, and he wouldn't have to necessarily sing. I mean, it'd be kind of cool to infuse a Tenacious D kind of thing in there in the process, but it's one of those things that, it just, I think Jack Black. He's our guy.
All right, moving right along. So our next character, bless her heart, she gets overshadowed by the boys so badly, but she is still part of the core group. Her character's name is Kate, and she is the blacksmith. She's the one that makes William his armor that keeps him from getting killed.
I love the fact that they cast a lady in this original role,
yes,
which would have been
too.
So against the times, and she does a beautiful job.
Yes, the actress's name is Laura Fraser. I believe she's Irish, or at least that's what her accent seems to indicate. She's either Irish or Scottish, but I'm going with Irish. Lovely lady, does her role beautifully, and again, like Roland, she takes no crap from the boys and just owns them at every chance she gets, and I love it. My pick for Kate is Katie McGrath. She is another actress, most famous to me for Merlin. She was also in the Supergirl television series as Lena Luthor. as well as Jurassic World. She got the most iconic death in Jurassic World, as she is the lady that gets attacked by the pterodactyls, then played with in the water, and then eaten by the mosasaur. So she got the most iconic and brutal death in that movie. But Katie McGrath as an actress, I love her. She is so good in Merlin. Early seasons, Merlin is more what I'm looking at for this role. But she has such a beautiful lightness to her, but also has the I'm not gonna take crap from anybody-ness about her. And since she's already worked with Bradley James, they already have a good dynamic. I think that they would be able to kind of bridge her into the rest of the boys, and it would just be beautiful cast chemistry there.
Awesome. That's a good casting.
Thank you.
Again, you're going to see Kristen and I come from different backgrounds. With the things that we've watched, I have a little bit more of a lengthy filmography that I can draw from. But again, I tend to pick things that are more recent, things that I've watched recently. My Kate is Katrina Law from NCIS. She has proven the physicality that she would need in the television show, plus the bodily aspects, black hair, I think she would, as the character she plays in NCIS, she could adequately pull off the role of Kate, who Kristen, like Kristen said, just becomes one of the boys.
All right, moving right along, we have Jocelyn. She is the love interest, the lady fair in the far off viewing box. The chase, the rose, whatever you want to call her, she is the star that William is chasing.
She had the original rose ceremony.
Ha 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 ha. She was originally played by Shannon Sossamon. Sorry, that last name is very difficult to pronounce. Sossamon is what I'm going with. And she does a beautiful job. She makes Jocelyn this almost ethereal, but also very, very cool lady of the court. If you look no further than her get-up at the ball scene.
Yes.
With her punk rock hair and the paint on her face. Like, she's really a punk rock lady of the court.
She is a great bookend to Heath Ledger's cool in this movie.
All right, my cast is Ophelia Lovibond. Again, I'm picking a lot of people that people may not know right off the top of their heads. If you saw the show Elementary, she was Kitty in that, one of Sherlock's apprentices in that. Also, if you've seen the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, she is the girl all decked out in pink that grabs the Power Stone in the Collector's laboratory, or whatever you want to call it. This actress is very, very cool to me. Everything she's in, she's played kind of the punk rock type girl, and while she's never like flippant, she always has a good bit of dramatic weight to her, and I think she would be able to bring that to Jocelyn, as well as play very well off of Tom Felton.
My pick is Sophia Pernas, or Pernas. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce her last name either. From Blood and Treasure. I love this actress. I thought she was comedically very funny in Blood and Treasure, which had 2 seasons. I think she's an incredible actress. She pulled off a great deal of physicality, but I think she could also, in certain aspects of that television show, she pulled off the ethereal beauty that Kristen was talking about just a little while ago, and could be very, very alluring in some of the more classic gowns and everything that she was wearing in Blood and Treasure. Sophia Pernas is my pick for Jocelyn.
I like that. I like that very much. All right, last one. The villain. Count Adhemar, as played by Rufus Sewell. Rufus Sewell was really the 2000s bad guy, wasn't he?
Yeah, he really was. And we don't get us wrong. We like this actor
quite a bit. He was in Amazing Grace, and it's one of the only good guy roles I've ever seen him in, aside from The Tourist, where he was pretty much just like a MacGuffin or a...
Yeah.
Rufus Sewell is one of those actors. He's really good at making you hate him.
Sure he is.
He's really good at making you hate him.
And you hate him in this
the
film.
The moment he walks on screen, you hate his guts. There is zero hope that you will actually like him. Which is why my cast is going to probably get me in trouble. I have cast Daniel Radcliffe as Count Adamar.
I can see that. That's odd. You know,
I have seen a few roles that he's been in outside of Harry Potter. One role that sticks out is Now You See Me Too.
Yeah.
And he plays the most petulant, awful person in that. And furthermore, both he and Tom Felton have given separate interviews saying they want to do a movie together, but they want their roles to be swapped. Daniel wants to be the villain and have Tom be the hero. They have both said they want to do a movie wherein their Harry Potter personas are swapped. So I think this would be perfect. I think Daniel would play very, very well the Count, thinking he's better than everybody, because again, that was his character in Now You See Me Too, and I think he would pull it off exquisitely. I'm sorry, all you Potterheads that think Daniel always needs to be the hero. I'm sorry. I think he would be a very good, hateable villain.
Actually like that casting. I like that casting very well, because I like to see character actors who play against character and see if they can pull it off. And Kristen's absolutely right. And Now You See Me Too, he pulls that off very well. Very well. And stretches himself as an actor. It seems there's another film more recent that he plays a similar character to that. And
Lost City?
Yes, that's what it was. Lost City with
Channing Tatum and Sandra Bullock.
Thank you very much. He is also in that, playing a very similar role. Petulant is a great way to describe that. So, my choice for Athamar, Kristen's not going to like very much. It is Oscar Isaacs.
Oh.
Yeah, Oscar Isaacs. You may know him as Poe from the Star Wars
sequel.
Whatever they're calling them now. Sequel series. The sequel trilogy. 6, 7, and 8. No, 7, 8, and 9. You may also know him from the Marvel show Moon Knight, which we can highly recommend.
Yes.
We like those little
I actually like
weird
this casting.
kind of films, and Moon Knight is one of those that you really have to pay attention. It's got a great cast. It's just one of those weird comic book adaptations that you're like, I can't believe I like that.
Why Oscar? I mean, I've cast him as a bad guy before too, in our Die Hard one. But
I think in Moon Knight he showed that ability to have a broad range as an actor. Between the multiple personality things that he was playing, that one rough and tough guy that he played in Moon Knight, and I think he's charming enough that when he comes on that screen, just like you said, you immediately loathe him. I think he can pull that off exceptionally well, and I'd like to see him do that, because let's face it, Moon Knight is kind of one of those characters that you're like, okay, I really want to cheer for him, but he's a punk in this part when he's this personality. And then of course Poe, you're like, let's go Poe, the whole time in Star Wars. And so I'd like to see him play just a little bit further off cast than what he's used to playing. And I think this role would really, I think he could do a sensational job of pulling that off, just based on what we've seen in Moon Knight.
I agree. I think that's a fabulous cast. I don't mind that at all.
Thank you.
I love Oscar Isaac, but that's a gets type. I like anti-type.
You heard it here, folks. She likes my casting better than she does hers.
That is not what I said.
Oh,
I prefer Daniel, but I think Oscar's good.
I think that's a great. Overall, both of us have come up with, I think, some relatively more modern actors, certainly than 2001. Anyway. That was 22 years ago.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay, let that sink in.
But that is all we've got, guys. That was our last her character. What do y'all think? Whose casting did you like better? Would you mix and match them? Did we overlook some obvious choices? When I was looking at it, the person that kept popping into my head was Tom Holland as William, but Tom Felton ultimately won out just because of his blonde hair.
Yeah.
Didn't want to have to dye Tom.
Now who's typecasting?
No, that's not typecasting. That's physical type.
Anyway, we do not want A Knight's Tale to be remade.
No, it's probably one of the more perfect fantasy comedies in existence because it's comedic without being stupid, it's heartfelt without being sappy, and it's ultimately a very well-written story of brotherhood, love, and chivalry.
Absolutely.
Like, I love this movie so much. So Hollywood, don't mess it up.
Sure, don't mess with the soundtrack.
Definitely don't mess with the soundtrack because you guys would probably have Taylor Swift in there and I just can't. I can't. Don't do it. It physically makes Dad cringe, the thought of it. So leave Knight's Tale alone. Leave Princess Bride alone. Leave all of the sweet fantasy films from the 90s and early 2000s alone. Okay? Thank you, Hollywood.
Thank you very much. That's us from Crossing Kin. We hope you've enjoyed this version of Recast. Like Kristen said, maybe you think of some other characters or character actors that we should probably look at if we are going to do the Knight's Tale recasting. But maybe there's other films that you'd like to see us ponder about as far as who could play those characters now.
Absolutely. Throw suggestions for future recasteds down in the comments below or email them to us at crosskin6496@gmail.com.
We can't say enough about how much we appreciate all of you guys who are clicking on our videos, even the ones from the archives. We are so excited to continue to see some of those numbers increasing. Please tell your friends. I mean, we know we're not the only internet YouTube channel out there, but we hope that we're one of the more interesting, we're one of the more thought-provoking, and we're one of the more fun. Because I don't know any other father-daughter duo that makes us dynamic, I suspect. But from the Crossing Kin Garage, that's going to be it for now. Wait until next time because there's more Crossing Kin goodness from the garage coming your way.
That's all we've got to say. Bye, guys.